The new generation Mustang, and the Mustang Cobra in particular, are the performance flagships for the Ford Motor Company. They're quick, tight-handling sports machines that turn heads wherever they show up. Now, the Cobra designation, which is bestowed upon the latest and most powerful Mustang models, is clear tribute to the first performance Mustang ever created back in 1965 by the father of the legendary Cobra sports car, Carroll Shelby. Here at the Shelby American Club Convention at Lime Rock Park in Connecticut, three men who have had a hand in the past, present, and future of the original Shelby Mustang were gathered with several hundred other Shelby disciples at this annual Shelby Shindig. Pete Brock, an original member of the Shelby American Design and Engineering Team. Rick Kopeck, the National Director of the Shelby American Automobile Club, or SAC. And Howard Pardee, the club's resident 65 GT350 registrar and historian. Rick Kopeck is also the owner of this fabulous original 65 GT350, which he vintage races. And he explained why the GT350 was built in the first place.
The GT350 was created because Ford had the need for a more rough and tumble performance image for their Mustang. They realized that Chevrolet was about to come out with a Camaro, because you can't keep secrets in Detroit. And they knew that the Mustang was a good basic car. It did everything that they wanted it to do as far as sales and performance, but they needed something that was a little bit more special. They needed something that they could hang their hat on as far as performance. And so what they did is they went to their hired gun, Carroll Shelby. He was their in-house gunslinger, and they got him to come out with a limited number of cars that were modified, that were distinctive, yet they were not that far from a Mustang where people would see the car and not distinguish it as a Mustang.
To execute the mechanical makeover, Shelby didn't overlook very much.
First of all, he ordered the cars to be built by Ford Motor Company minus a lot of extraneous parts like rear seat and hood and sound deadening. And then the race cars were ordered without carpeting. They didn't have any seam sealer in it, no heater, no radio, maximum lightness. And then Shelby went from there and built a race car by putting in a roll bar, putting in a competition engine. The chassis on all 65 Shelbys were all the same, the race cars and the street cars, but it wasn't a street car suspension, it was the race car suspension. And then Shelby added lightness. He subtracted weight by taking out all the rest of the parts of the interior, put a very light fiberglass racing bucket seat. There was no dash padding. There were no interior door panels except a piece of flat aluminum. He replaced the distinctive louvers that were supposed to extract air, and he took out those louvers just to save about 10 pounds per side. That got the weight down to about 2,550 pounds, and with the competition engines that Shelby had been building for Cobras over the years, they had a proven product right from the beginning.
The first race that the GT350 won was on Valentine's Day in 1965. First time it was entered in a race, the first time it won. That wasn't really a surprise to Shelby. They knew that the car was situated in the right class and it would be able to win right out of the box.
With both street and competition versions of the GT350 available, the over 500 Shelbys built that first year were snapped up quickly. And much of the success of those original cars was a result of the race-inspired paintwork, thanks to then design director Pete Brock.
First of all, we had to make the car very different. And when you have an automobile that's produced by the thousands, literally, as the Mustang was, to differentiate it from the production automobile, the first and most obvious thing was to put the two Le Mans racing stripes on it. That differentiated the car to a tremendous extent. And when I had the opportunity and they said, you can do anything you want, but we don't have any money, paint was the easiest thing to do, and that came to mind.
National championships in 1965, 66, and 67, and that blue chip pedigree of the Shelby lineage. They are cars that can still jam your pulse into high gear.
It hangs together pretty well, and I mean, I can look at that front scoop. I can remember the day we modeled that thing all up in play on the car. We did the side stripes. I did this little scoop with this little relief detail in here. Those were all little subtleties. I mean, you could have put the scoop on the car without that, but it was just that little bit of detailing that you know, gave the car its own character. It's not overdone, and I think it's it's a tastefully looking car. It stands up. This little relief in here, Chuck Cantwell did all the engineering on having this stuff made to give the car a different look, to give us more rearward vision on it, design those wheels on it. All these little details on the car that make it what it is, I think they stand up pretty well today. You know, I can look at it, I'm proud of it today.